My heart belonged there. I was human, after all. I knew that the demon world was important to Sam and Diana, but I would have never been truly happy here. I missed the blue sky, and the sweet air of home called me back. The curse on me had been lifted. We fought in the war to return home. That was what we had to do. Sam smiled slightly and nodded. The incubi and their wives smiled as well, but the rebel leaders lowered their heads and looked at each other in concern. I quickly turned to them, not wanting to leave them without a plan. Work together to rebuild this world. Diana would have wanted that from all of you. A lump in my throat almost blocked me from finishing that sentence. It was deeply painful to refer to Diana as dead, as she gave her life for me, but the world needed a leader, and it had 4. The 4 rebel leaders looked to each other and nodded.
We will do our best. Thank you for trusting the world with us.
What are we gonna do first? We could do all kinds of really amazing things, like rebuild the forests. No, wait, have a party. Wait, no.
Faye, you're great.
Faye, quiet.
Oh, lighten up. The war is over. We have a reason to celebrate.
I smiled, happy to know that the world was in good hands. However, Faye took a breath and looked to me with a small smile before forming a small lavender-colored lily in her hands.
Before you go, though, since Diana is... well... she wanted to give you this.
I stared at the flower in surprise. What was it? I reached out and took it into my hands, practically feeling the magic and energy run through it. It's lovely.
A flower of Lilith. But how can that be?
They were said to have died out generations ago.
I continued to stare at the flower, entranced by its spell. It was such a gorgeous-looking flower. I could barely tear my eyes away.
Put it behind your ear. I think she said it was magical or something.
I tilted my head before I nodded, and lifting it up to tuck it in behind my ear. As it settled against my ear, I felt mist circle my head and form into a flower crown of lavender lilies. The way everyone looked at me made me feel like I was in my bridal wear already.
Whoa.
Don't you mean again?
Amazing!
I looked to Sam, seeing him grin ear to ear at the sight of me. I blushed, feeling somehow timid with the flower crown on my head, but happy to know that had rendered my husband speechless. However, as I lifted my hand to the flowers, feeling their soft petals, I could feel the world fade to a white color. Huh? From the direction of where Diana had fallen, a figure stepped towards me, bathed in light. I covered my eyes with my arm for a moment, before seeing who it was. Diana? With a smile, Diana stopped in front of me and gently ran her hand along the crown, over the petals of the flowers. I stared wide-eyed at Diana, unbelieving that I was seeing her.
I expected you to choose the human world. Really, dear. So predictable.
Diana. Diana chuckled, stopping me from whatever I was planning on saying, before cupping my chin to make me gaze into her eyes.
Well then, promise me that you will take care of the brute. He needs a strong woman guiding him, and you've been blessed by the flowers of Lilith. So it seems you're up to the task.
I felt tears form and drip down my cheeks, but I nodded. Something in my heart lifted, and I felt at ease with everything. I had made the right choice. With a smile, Diana tilted forward and kissed my forehead beneath the crown before stepping away.
May you be happy with your choice, dear. And thank you.
Diana slowly turned and began to walk away further into the light of the area. Sero, who was also bathed in light, slowly appeared and waited for Diana with an arm out for her. Diana took his hand and smiled up at him before looking back to me, nodding and walking away. As they both vanished into the light, the world around me reappeared with everyone staring at me in shock.
Whoa, hey. Are you alright?
Aw. What? Huh? I quickly looked at Sam before lifting my hand to my cheek, feeling the trails of rogue tears left behind over my skin. I wiped my eyes and cheeks before nodding, laughing softly. I'm fine. I'm sorry. I smiled brightly, taking in a breath, and I looked up at Sam while taking his hands. Let's go home. Home.
Well, you did it! Congratulations! You've made it to the end of your story. I have to say, I am very surprised at how it turned out. Nevertheless, I'm glad things worked out in the end, whether it was for the better or otherwise. You and Sam deserve to be happy. I mean, you both went through a dragon's trial to be together. A dragon's trial. Those are tough.
Pretty sure that's putting it mildly, but okay.
Still, it all worked out, right? You defeated the Demon Lord and got to return home to the human world. Anyways, you've been through a lot, so why don't we skip to... Huh? You want to know what happened after the war? Well, I mean, I guess I could tell you.
You better fucking tell me. You're the goddamn narrator. It's your goddamn fucking job.
After the war was finished, the entire rebellion celebrated. Word spread far and wide about the rebellion's success, and soon every kingdom in the abyssal plains had become united with the new authority. You would think demons would be more hostile towards each other, being demons and all, but the threat of the Demon Lord was what brought the entire world together. Since Diana and Sarah fell to their... demise, and you decided to return to the human world with Sam, the rebel leaders took up the mantle together and vowed to bring peace and prosperity to the demon world. While it was a tough time for them, as a majority of the world still mourned the loss of the rebel queen, they managed to bring the world together and bring a steady peace to the demons within it. They worked diligently to this day, trying to bring equality to the entire world and create a world their queen would have been proud of. And I believe that is everything that happened after, well, except for your story anyway.
The most important one, but that's okay.
Sam and you returned home and prepared to get married at last. No distractions, no kidnappings.
About frickin' time. Gosh, how many of those do we have to go through? Not enough, actually.
Huh? How do I know? Well, I have my ways. Maybe you should check it out.
By the time I returned to the human world, I had regained all of my pre-wedding jitters. My mind began to furiously worry about the wedding again, all the way until it came time to walk down the aisle. After that, it was surprisingly smooth sailing. I would forever remember the moment the bells chimed and the taste of Sam's lips on mine as we were pronounced wife and husband. I mean husband and wife, but okay. The ceremony erupted in cheers, and the reception carried that energy into the night. I could go on and on about the wedding and the honeymoon, but honestly, after the war, I was more concerned with living my life afterwards. Our lives escalated to new heights after we officially became husband and wife. Sam began to climb the ladder of the public service chain. Okay. Our lives escalated to new heights after we officially became husband and wife. Sam began to climb the ladder of the public service chain and eventually became chief of police. Everyone at work respected him, even the criminals that came in after being arrested. As for me, I began to go through my own success in life, dedicating myself to becoming exactly what I wanted to be. After all, my husband was a cop who was also secretly a demon. If I put the same amount of work in as I did in the demon world, then I was going to be okay. Extremely vague answer on what you do with your life. Alright, that's pretty good. However, there was never a day that went by that I didn't think about what was happening in the abyssal plains. It was a heavy chapter of my life, one that tested the love between me and Sam. To think I was married to the Lord of Dragons. Apparently, it was a very powerful title to own, and I happened to be in love with the man who carried it. A title like that, I was sure, carried a large amount of responsibility. Still, I was confident that we would get through it and stay together no matter what came our way. Demon, devil, dragon, it didn't matter to us. We were unstoppable together. The faint memory of my own power slightly tingled through me every time I grew confident, eagerly reminding me that I had strength of my own. I would never let anyone come between me and Sam ever again. Standing over the stove, I took a moment to let my mind wander as the breakfast I was preparing slowly cooked. Sam was still passed out in bed, tired from working the day before, so I let him sleep peacefully. It was adorable remembering his sleeping face, a goofy grin, hair rustled and wild, expression surprisingly peaceful. I could only chuckle as I began to plate our food and arrange the breakfast tray to carry it all. The plates weren't a problem, but the glasses and jug of orange juice made it a challenge. I, however, was confident enough in my skills to carry breakfast to our room to surprise Sam. Everything smells great. Let's hope it tastes good, too. I slowly made my way to the bedroom, climbing the stairs one step at a time. While it was usually true that you lose balance the slower you go when carrying something, I didn't want to just bolt up the stairs in the hope of getting everything there in one piece. As I finally arrived, I quietly slipped into the room. At the sight of the still sleeping Sam, I smiled and let out a silent sigh of relief before walking in and placing the tray of food on the nearby nightstand. The sight of Diana's lily caught my attention. It was in a beautiful vase Sam and I custom ordered, decorating the nightstand perfectly. Because of its magical nature, it was still alive and looked as freshly bloomed as the day I received it. Despite it being a bittersweet day, Sam and I cherished the lily and cared for it a lot. It was a physical memory of an important chapter in my life, and I felt blessed to have it still. I let out another sigh before walking around the bed and sitting in the spot I usually slept in before gently nudging Sam. Sam? Sam, it's almost 10 a.m. Come on. When Sam didn't move, I simply chuckled. He was indeed a deep sleeper. I gently leaned in and kissed Sam's cheek, hoping to break the spell of sleep on him with true love's kiss. Oh my god, that's so fucking corny. It's time to get up, Sam.
5 more minutes.
I could only laugh before crawling further onto the bed and sitting beside him. While breakfast was waiting, Sam deserved to sleep a bit longer. He had been working hard ever since his promotion, so it was no surprise to see him struggle to get up. I ruffled Sam's hair a bit, making him groan and push my hand off tiredly, but that only spurred me to laugh harder. As I did, Sam finally opened an eye and stared up at me, an exhausted haze evident in his gaze. I covered my mouth and giggled, a little apologetic for waking him up with my laughter. Sorry, I'll be quiet. Sam shook his head and yawned, stretching his arms up and shutting his eyes, before opening them again and lazily looking up at me from his pillow.
Morning, doofus.
Shut up. Morning, jerk. Morning, Sam. I made breakfast. Sam sniffed the air and turned his head to look at the tray before nodding and returning to his lazy pose on the bed.
Smells good. Bet it tastes even better.
Oh, stop it. You fucking kiss up. I would hope so. Sam gave me a toothy grin before gently pulling me down to lie beside him. Whoa, Sam! I was silenced by Sam nuzzling my shoulder and pulling me close to cuddle against my body. My face began to heat as I felt his warmth around me.
We'll eat in a bit. I want to stay here for a while.
I took the moment in before nodding and wrapping my arms around him, nuzzling his chest. Sam smiled and kissed my head, relaxing into the embrace. He felt perfect in my arms, and nothing could have been better than being held by him. It was like lying in paradise. Did you sleep okay?
Mm-hmm. You?
Mm-hmm. Our words became simple, but our embrace only intensified our love for each other. The bed became like a cloud, and the room almost lost in its shape in my eyes, as all I could focus on was Sam.
I love you. You know that, right?
I love you too.
I mean it. I love you and care about you so much.
I looked up at Sam, seeing the love he spoke of burning brightly in his eyes as he locked his gaze with mine. I felt my heart beating wildly in my chest before leaning up and nuzzling my forehead to his with a peaceful and happy smile. And I you, Sam, more than anyone will ever know. There was nothing more that needed to be said. Our feelings were simple but powerful enough to move continents. Our love may have seemed plain at a glance, but within our hearts burned the flames of our devotion and passion for one another. I couldn't stop my smile from growing before leaning in to kiss Sam lovingly, feeling him kiss back with the same amount of love and passion I had. No matter what, we would always find each other. We would always wind up back in each other's arms, and we would fly through every obstacle in our way on the wings of our love. And that was my perfect happily ever after. Alright, gonna let the credits roll here. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe. Got some other stuff coming up soon here. Alright. And enjoy the beautiful music. I know I will.
Within the night, bathing in the firelight, a memory echoed within my heart. I call to you, lost and wondering what to do.